Good morning, Omar here from my point of view, and today I have one of the wildest cars I ever rented, man. Just look at this thing. It's a 2019 Dodge Charger. Let's just take a look at the exterior real quick. So on this Charger, you have the hood scoop up in the front. As you notice, the stance is very low. It's actually very low down to the ground. We got 20-inch wheels on here, and we also have Brembo brakes on this thing. You got the blacked out mirrors, we have the sunroof, we have the blacked out spoiler in the back. We also have the blackout letterings for the Charger name. Everything about this Charger is just like fantastic, just everything. And what I'm gonna do right now is actually start it up. So here's the key, normal key fob on these Chargers, Challengers, and all this stuff. But that's the problem. It's a freaking V6. Yes, 2019 Dodge Charger GT. It's strange you could get this GT package with these wheels. These are like the SRT wheels and the Brembo brakes as well. And I find that this hilarious. But nonetheless, it's a GT. So we're gonna go ahead and get inside real quick. This thing is fully freaking loaded for a GT. Now, I've never ridden a Charger in this interior package, not with the sunroof. It's just a normal sunroof, not panoramic sunroof. But the stance is lower than the white Charger Hemi that I had a few months back ago. What I'm gonna do now is actually go to the dealership and compare this model to the other Charger models as well. I made it to my destination. I'm actually back here where I was at the white Charger Hemi as well, back in Franklin. And Mr. Thomas gave me permission to look at the vehicle. So there is a used Scat Pack I just saw pulling in, but every time I come to the dealership, I'm just have to ask for permission to do this anyways. You know, I'm not sponsored or there's no partnership with any dealership yet, but it's still just out of respect just to ask if I can do this, because you know they may say no, so it is what it is. So I'm actually gonna pull up to the side of this Scat Pack. I think it's used. I think that's what Mr. Thomas told me. And let's just do a side-by-side comparison real quick. Now, I have yet to actually look inside that Scat Pack, but already you can tell they're both the exact same ride height. I would say that even the Scat Pack is just, I think the GT is slightly lower. I'm not for sure. Maybe it's just my eyes fooling me. But you can tell the difference. Obviously in the front, this is still just a normal GT. Up in the front, that's just a normal grille. And then for the Scat Pack, you have the little nostrils, I would like to call them. Yeah, that's totally different. Obviously, it's that Scat Pack, but obviously you could remove that. Not for sure why people would do that. Down at the bottom, the fog lights are the same, and you still, yeah, everything's pretty much the same except for the nostrils. And then you have the obvious side badging. 392 for the 392, and nothing for the GT. And that's pretty much it for the side profile. I can't tell if this is the black mirror, but it doesn't have a sunroof for this option. And you do have the same wheels. This is the Scat Pack right here, and this is the GT. You got the same type of wheels and the Brembo brakes as well. Yeah, this is the option out with the cloth seats, and I believe this is, to me, looks, is it used? I'm pretty sure it is. Yes, used. Has to be new. It has to be used. I'm not for sure it's gonna make it 2019s, but it has the cloth seats and it has the Bumblebee on the seat as well. Same as the Scat Pack Challenger, but the cloth seats. So everything inside the gauge cluster is going to be the same. Obviously, the only thing that's going to be different is like on this Challenger that I had. This one has the doors are locked, so obviously. This one has 180 on the dash, while the GTs will only have 160. No, excuse me. The GTs will only have 140. The Hemis will only have 160. So that's one thing I like about the Dodge. They just don't put like 200 on each single model. They actually, you know, make them all different. What someone can actually do is just pull the grille from a 392 and the badging from a 392 and put on this trim level. But if you really want to know, just look at the dash. 140 for the GTs, 160 for the Hemis, 180 for the Scat Pack, 200 Hellcat, and I guess the red eye will have 220, but I've yet to see one. So let's continue on. So this is like the black trim, top level, whatever. And the Charger label is blacked out on this. It is blacked out as well on the Scat Pack, but I'm pretty sure it's because the car is black itself. And then you have a Bumblebee back here on the right. You still have the GT trim level on the right of the trunk as well. Now looking at the exhaust, here's another thing you'll notice. The exhaust tips are completely different on both models. This is wider, and that's the same size as well on the Hemi. But the GTs have a smaller tip. Now my eyes are not fooling me. I think the GT is still slightly lower than the Scat Pack. I believe so. Or maybe it's just the elevation of the driveway. So that's these two. Let me actually move my charger out the way since the truck's gone. A little shout out to this Franklin dealership. Dodge, Ram, Jeep, and Chrysler have a nice used car selection. Very nice. I mean, look at that Chevy Cruze and the Audi. I think it's an S5. Honda HR-V, I believe. Yeah, got some very nice used cars here as well. So come and check them out. We have here is another Charger. This is the Hemi trim level. So actually the Hemi is pretty much similar as to the GT as well up in the front. Same hood scoop. You have the Hemi badge on the side, unlike the GT. And you have the cloth seats trim level on this one. And like I stated earlier, the doors are open. It has 160, it's got 41,000 miles on it. 160 on the dash. You can get the GT that looks just like this. You don't need the Brembo brakes and all that stuff. Normal brake calipers. I think the Charger, the GT that I had, the red one, that has 20-inch wheels. This one is, yeah, this is also 20-inch wheels as well, but different style. Charger in silver, and it's got the RT badge, which I love, and the same exhaust tips like it is on the Scat Pack. We just have a few Chargers here, so let's just go over it real quick. I just showed you the 392. This actually has different wheels and different Brembo brake package. The nice red brake calipers, and these have also 20-inch wheels, but the tires are different. Now look at this 392. Ooh, this is silver. That's got the black hood scoop. That's the sunroof, but that's not the black mirrors. I'm not a huge fan of black mirrors. I don't think I need black mirrors to match the black hood scoop. Same brake options as it is on this one as well. 392. Alcantara seats. Let's see how much this one costs with that black hood. Yeah, 392 also on the dashboard. 51,000 2020. So glad to see 2020. I think that's pretty much it. This is just the Hemi right here, and I'm pretty sure, ooh, this one actually has like kind of a goldish type of wheel option. That's nice. It's got the black spoiler in the back. Hope this is 2020, so they got 2020s out. It's 2019, but this $36,000. Wow. I would actually prefer to get this. That's cheap. $36,000 for a Hemi, and the Hemi to me, my personal take, I believe the Hemi sounds, I like the sound of the Hemi. Both sound good. I'm not gonna say one sounds better than the other, but just for what you could do on the road legally, and I'll talk more about this in a second, what you could do on the road legally, the RT is just like the perfect car. I love the wheel options on this. Not a huge fan of the black spoiler, but I don't dislike it. So that's pretty much it for the side-by-side comparisons between my GT package and like the higher trim levels, the Hemis and the SRTs. So I must give more of my point of view on the GT trim level. Thank you once again, Franklin, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, and Jeep for letting me do this, and thank you, Mr. Thomas. Driving the Charger GT, or the Scat Pack version, I have to say it's very quiet. It's very low down to the ground compared to a normal GT. You do hear just a little bit of wind noise on the right side, but other than that, man, this thing is pretty smooth and quiet. The steering is very precise in this thing as well. The 8-speed transmission is just fantastic, even with the small 3.6. And I'll do a quick little walk around of the exterior one more time and give you more of the performance data. Acceleration is good, and these brakes are fantastic. Fantastic brakes. Acceleration is excellent for a V6. Some might think it's underpowered by looking at the paper, but it gets the job done, if I do say so myself. This is not a 0 to 60. Yeah, this engine revs up to like 6,200 RPM, I believe. Around there. this is a good location for me to pull to the side. And what I like to do is keep the headlights on, but keep one turn signal on to demonstrate one side with the turn signal and the other side with the headlights still on. I have to say, this is pretty much fantastic for if you want the looks but don't really care about the performance, and gas mileage is kind of a thing for you as well. So this is pretty much the EcoBoost of the Charger lineup, and possibly the Challenger lineup as well. I'm not for sure if you get a Challenger that looks like the Scat Pack, but with the V6 trim level, with the V6 engine option as well. I love the color, I love the wheels. The ride height doesn't really affect anything, but it's all good. Everyone's slowing down to see what the heck I'm doing. But this car has done exactly what I wanted to do at the exact moment when I tell it to do it. Yeah, V8 will make this car just a little bit better, but I do respect the V6. And about the V6, man, I don't think the V8s will even exist. So shout out to the owners of the V6s, because y'all keeping us alive. For the people who wants the V8s but not buying either of them. Do a little exhaust note real quick. That 3.6 Pentastar V6, and since I keep referencing it's a V6, let's look underneath the hood. So you saw the 6.4, you saw even the Hellcat motor, the 6.2 supercharged, the 5.7, and now you're looking at the 3.6 variable valve timing Pentastar. This puts out 300 brake horsepower and 264 foot-pounds of torque. May not seem like a lot for such a heavy car, but it gets the job done. I mean, it does it. Especially with the 8-speed automatic gearbox, which is fantastic in this car. No complaints there. And yes, this vent is pretty much functional. I like this car, I really do. Whichever dealership owns this car after it gets done with a rental car or whatever, I want it. I do. There's another thing I forgot to mention in the other video, the 5.7. This does have blind spot monitoring. That's like the only safety option it has. Doesn't have radar guided cruise control, but that's a good safety feature to have, blind spot monitoring. Well, for my final drive with this GT Scat Pack, I would have to say I am dearly going to miss this car. And I'm surprised with the lower ride height, you have like an enormous amount of grip throughout the bends. Now, obviously it's raining and I won't be able to display it. It's later on through the night, just got off of work. So here's my comparison between the 3.6, the 5.7, and 6.4. So the 3.6 is pretty good for the city. It can get in and out of tight spaces. What I mean by that is like, it could dig itself out of a hole pretty good. The 5.7 could do the exact same thing. So in terms of acceleration wise, from like 0 to 20, 0 to 25, the 3.6 could keep up with the 5.7. Now obviously what's missing is the noise factor. That plays a huge factor in pretty much everything. But some people, believe it or not, don't care about the engine note anymore. I mean, I'm driving 60 miles an hour in this low ride GT package, and I'm having the time of my life. I love the stance of this. As much as I love the 5.7 and the 6.4, this doesn't drone if you wanted to get up and go just a little bit, if you want to overtake someone on the highway. So I went from 60 to 70. Obviously the 5.7 would do it quicker, and the 6.4 would do it faster. That's pretty obvious. 300s versus 370 versus 475 horsepower. Yeah, you see the numbers. It's like walking up a flight of stairs, okay? There is a huge difference. But for everyday driving, not everyone wants to hear a loud V8 every single day, which makes this car complete sense. If you punch it, it is responsive. However, the downside is if you have like a car full of adults, then it will become extremely slow. Then you'll wish you had the V8, the Hemi. But even flooring the 5.7 on the highway, you've kind of noticed that the 5.7 is still kind of, I will admit, it can accelerate good, but top speed in, 5.7 is not really up there. You need a 6.4 for like ultimate performance. And trust me, that's pretty much all you're gonna be doing in this thing on the highway. But there is a quality control issue I've noticed in the chargers. Doesn't matter if it's 6.4, 5.7, or 3.6 like I am right now. I've noticed every time I hit a little bump, I hear a little squeak in the seat. It doesn't matter if it's the cloth seats or the suede seats. That is an issue I've noticed in the charger. ...2019 Charger GT. So, what do I think about it? Well, as you guys know, I had the pleasure of driving the 2019 Charger RT and the 2018 Dodge Challenger SRT, the Scat Pack. So, my take on the 3.6 Pentastar V6, and especially in this package, it's a great cruiser. I think that's what this car is really meant for. Only problem I have is the price, because as we saw at the dealership for like the 2020 Dodge Charger RTs, base price starts around $36,000. I'm just trying to calculate all the options in my head. Like I stated, the wheels, the Brembo brakes, suede seats, the sunroof, the blacked out mirrors, the blacked out spoiler. I mean, just estimating, that sounds like a good $5,000 worth of options, I would say. Heated and cool seats and heated steering wheel. I mean, that's a lot of options. So $31,000 plus almost $6,000, you're looking at $37,000. That's just my estimate. And there's a huge price gap between the Hemi and the 392, and there's a huge price gap between the 392 and the Scat Pack. For my thinking, the choice is up to you. But my point of view, you can't go wrong. The Hemi is quiet if you keep it in cruise control, 70, 75 miles an hour. If you're like me, like to keep the foot on the gas pedal, the engine may start to drone a little bit. This doesn't do that. I would never say, oh, it's just a V6 to anyone ever again. Oh, it's just an EcoBoost, because I understand those cars now. These cars are what makes the V8s go on sale. These cars are what keeps the Hemis, the 392s, and the Scat Pack and Challengers. These rental V6s, I have so much respect for them, because these things take a lot of abuse. They've been holding up pretty well, so just keep that in mind. So if you're looking for a fast, muscle, sporty looking car, everyone goes for the EcoBoost. Get the Dodge Charger GT a try, man. I think you guys will like it. So thank you so much for watching my video.